Howdy and welcome to episode 56 of T-Shirts and Shawls. I'm Karen and today is Friday, June the 8th, 2018. If you watched the previous episode, I mentioned that over the summer my podcast schedule would be a little, relaxed, that I wouldn't really be able to keep to the every other Thursday schedule that I usually do. And so today is a pretty good day to record, so I thought I would take advantage of it, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna kind of make it a shorter episode, or at least that is the plan. Sometimes I plan to make short episodes and they're really not that short, but that's the plan. So with that in mind, there are a few things that I want to talk about and share with you guys, and yeah, so I thought I would take advantage of that. I am actually in my living room on my couch because Luna is next to me. So let me put the camera down a little bit. So there's Luna, and Wally and Eva are somewhere else taking a nap, so I won't disturb them right now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So I have two finished objects. I am so excited that I have some things off the needles because I haven't had a lot of time to knit lately because of Luna. Really making sure that she is getting taken care of. We're still working on potty training and all of that, so very time consuming. But anyway, so I've focused on two projects. So I actually don't have a what I'm knitting section for this podcast episode, because the only thing I've been knitting since the past episode were these two projects, and now they are both finished. I actually just finished one of them like right before I started recording. So the first is my Tsunami shawl. So this one is by Josh Reich-Strabinsky, who did a collection of shawl patterns that are designed specifically for self-striping yarn. So the construction of this is really cool. You start up here, probably if you're starting, so you start here and you work the solid section, and then you work the self-striping section going that way. So it's kind of a knitted on border, but you're not binding off the stitches. You're still keeping live stitches so that you can use them again when you knit the next solid section. Waving this around, Luna keeps trying to bite it, so hopefully that won't be a problem. Anyway, so this is a really fun thing to do with self-striping yarn. The collection has 7 different patterns. I know some other people are working on this one, some other people are working on another one in the collection called Typhoon, and then there are 5 others. So they're really fun. It's a great way to use self-striping yarn if you don't want to make socks. So I really recommend this pattern. So this side is the bind off side. So at this point you do kind of do a more of a knitted on border where you're binding off, and you also have kind of this I-cord like bind off edging. So it was a fun knit. It still needs to be blocked. So if it looks kind of crumpled, still not straightened out, that's because I haven't blocked it yet. I wanted to show it off to you guys, and if it's on the blocking board and damp, it's harder to do that. But basically when I finish recording this, it's going in the bucket to soak, and then I'm gonna lay it out to block it, because I'm going to be bringing this to Houston Fiber Fest, which is in just 2 weeks now. It's sneaking up on me as one of my samples, so that way you can see it if you are at Houston Fiber Fest in all its blocked glory. So that is one project. The second project that I finished is a sample sock, and I literally just finished this right before I started recording. I did the grafting for the toe and wove in the ends. So this is a new colorway that will be coming. Right now in my head, I've been calling this the gradient, so gradient, but gray at the beginning. Color, but I do want to stick to my Arthurian theme, so so I don't want to actually use gradient as the name. I do have some ideas for names, and so as soon as I kind of iron that out and get that completely settled, I will be posting this as a new colorway. I currently have 4 skeins dyed, so when I do post it, I will post those 4 skeins and then I'll dye more. assuming that it actually sells and more skeins are needed. So for colorway names, I am thinking about some Harry Potter related names. And when I say that, I still very much want to keep the Arthurian legends in there. So within Harry Potter, Merlin is referenced a number of times, and so there are ways to use that for colorway names. But also there is a knight. So if you're familiar with Harry Potter, you know all the paintings, the people that are in the paintings actually are able to move around and talk and move between paintings. And apparently there's a painting with a knight whose name right now I'm forgetting. It's Sir, it starts with a C, like cardamom or something like that. I need to look it back up. Anyway, so supposedly he was a knight of the Round Table, but he did not make it into the Muggle versions of the stories. And there is a whole part where he actually plays a role in the story itself. So I think playing around with his name and what happens with him is a way to use Harry Potter and also connect it to the Round Table Yarns theme. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about possibly doing for the name of this colorway. So 2 finished objects. I haven't really done very much on the beaded shawl, the stargazing shawl that I've been working on. I've not really been wanting to get beads out when I have the puppy around, but I'm looking forward to getting back to that one whenever I can. And then I also have the sleeves still to go on my Let Go cardigan, so hopefully we'll start working on that again at some point. And I have the other pair of socks that I'm making out of some Brazen Stitchery self-striping yarn. I'm on the 2nd sock and I need to work on it. So and there might be another project in there that I'm forgetting, but I think those are the main ones. Anyway, so hopefully I will be able to get back to those. There are some projects that I want to cast on, so I think since I've finished 2 projects that I should be able to kind of celebrate by casting on some new things. So hopefully the next time I record, I will have some more of what I'm knitting to share with you. What I've been stashing lately is not yarn, but bags, project bags. So I was really excited. So I follow a bag maker on Instagram whose shop is Fate's Thread. And she posted this fabric that she had just gotten of Boston Terriers and Harry Potter. So hopefully, maybe if I open the bag up, you can see the fabric a little better. There you go. So Boston Terriers and Harry Potter. As soon as I saw this, it was kind of one of those, I instantly went over to her shop and bought this because that is just too perfect for Luna, because Luna is named after a Harry Potter character. So I really, really love this and very excited to get it. I gotta tell you though, following Fate's Thread on Instagram is so dangerous. She's been posting some really, really great bags. And I think maybe I showed you this to you guys last time. I don't remember, but anyway, she's been posting some really, really great bags. And I've been resisting because drawstring bags currently are not my favorite style because I'm worried about the cats and now the dog playing with the strings. But these are kind of some thicker material, and I think that they're maybe a little less likely to attract. I'm saying that, and here's Luna right here trying to get the strings. I think it's a little, and it's more securely, like I have to really give it a tug to open it up. So so the bags are made of really good quality. So I'm trying out the drawstring because I just couldn't resist the fabric. Anyway, so following Fate's Thread on Instagram, it's really, really great. She has great bags, great fabric, but it is dangerous because she posted, I resisted some other bags she posted, but I could not resist these 2 and they just arrived. So this one has Wingardium Leviosa instead of Leviosa and such a cute picture. And then on the back is some fabric with various kind of ingredients for potions. But anyway, so I thought that was super cute. And then going into a Firefly / Serenity fandom, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. And if you are a Firefly fan, then you should know that. And then on the back is the fabric with the Firefly characters. So again, I couldn't resist these. Oh, see, I said drawstring, and now look what Luna's done. She's grabbed it. Okay, I could not resist those. I had to get those bags. The fabric is fabulous. Anyway, if you like that style of bag, and especially if you have some geeky she has other non-geeky fandom types of bags. But especially if you have geeky fandoms, she's got some good ones in there. I will post her shop link in the show notes because, yeah, I really, really am liking her bags. Trying to resist, but yeah, she's been posting some really great ones on Instagram. For Roundtable Yarns, technically the biggest thing that I'm working on right now is getting ready for Houston Fiber Fest. But I feel, even though it is just in 2 weeks, I feel pretty okay with my preparations for it. Usually before a fiber festival, these last 2 weeks, I'm kind of scrambling, trying to get as much dyed as possible. And especially this week that I'm going into, I still have, usually a huge list of yarn that I need to dye, and that's not happening. There's yarn that I could dye, because, it's, I think leaving undyed yarn when I could be dyeing it means that I have stuff that obviously I'm not gonna be able to sell if I don't bring it. So it's always good to dye as much as I have. But I've looked at my list of what I feel like I really need to have, and there are only a few things left on it. So, knock on wood, I feel pretty good going into the final 2 weeks before this show. I did get a new sign for my booth, and I was thinking about the way that I'm planning to set up my booth for Houston Fiber Festival. Once again, I have a double booth, but I have an end cap. So that means I have not only the front open, but the two sides are open. So kind of thinking about how to arrange the booth, I thought that I wanted to try to get a new sign, and that I would get one that was more vertical, and that I would have something that I could put up on a table in the booth. So I ordered one from the place I get a lot of my stuff from, and they had a retractable sign. So it is one that actually you pull out and have a tall pole that you then put it on so it stays up, and then it retracts back in. And I thought that would be really great. It came in a really nice carrying case, and that would be really easy. So that arrived yesterday, and I pulled it out. It is everything that I want. It's a retractable case, or retractable banner. It's got a really nice carrying case. Except I guess I totally didn't look at the dimensions for it. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted to my Instagram stories yesterday with the sign up and me standing beside it. Yeah, that thing is like 6 feet tall. I don't know why I didn't notice that in the dimensions. That was not, I was thinking of something that was like maybe 3 or 4 feet that I could put on the table, and then, and then it would, total be about 6 feet tall at that point. But this, putting it on a table, it's gonna be really, really tall. So I don't know yet exactly what I'm gonna do with it. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. If you're at Houston Fiber Fest, you'll find out, kind of what I decide and figure out with the sign. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to Houston Fiber Fest because that is in 2 weeks. And again, technically, even though I'm on a more relaxed schedule for the summer, that would be about the time that I would record the next episode. That probably means that there won't be an episode until after Houston Fiber Fest. So maybe I'll record a mini episode sometime between now and then. Who knows? Just kind of recording, like I said, as I have a little time here and there. I think that's the best thing to do this summer. Anyway, so Houston Fiber Fest is coming, and then the other big thing that I'm working on with Roundtable Yarns is the next yarn club. So I'm doing something a little bit different with this yarn club. So the club is based on the story of the Knight of the Lion, who is Yvain. And I do have a colorway called Yvain. It's a golden brown color because he's the Knight of the Lion, so it's kind of a lion-y color. Anyway, but this yarn club will expand that story. So instead of just the little bitty snippet that you get on that yarn label for Yvain, you'll get the full story of what happens and how he becomes the Knight of the Lion. So the club itself technically opens at the end of June, but there's something a little bit different with this story. So Yvain has a cousin, and this cousin has had a misadventure. And that misadventure is what leads Yvain on his own adventures. So the cousin story is it happens at the beginning. It's technically a separate story. It's the catalyst that makes Yvain go off on his quest, but it is something that is not necessarily part of the main story. So I thought what I would do is create a colorway for that cousin story. His name is Sir Calogrenant. At least that's how I'm going to pronounce it, Calogrenant. So I've created what I'm calling a pre-club colorway. So because it is a pre-club, it is not a surprise. The colorways for the club itself are a surprise, but Calogrenant is not. So this is a pink, which since I'm just recording here in my living room, I don't know how well the lighting is doing, but hopefully this is coming across decently. So this is a pink, and it's called Calogrenant's Misadventure. And I picked pink because he is not wanting to tell his story. He does not come out well in the story, and so he is shamed by what happened. So the pink is kind of representing kind of blushing from shame. So Calogrenant's Misadventure. And right now, so if you're watching this when the episode posts, through June 26th, this yarn color is available. It is dyed on Merlin, which is my fingering weight merino nylon blend. So it's a really good sock yarn, although you don't have to make socks out of it. And so between now and June 26th, this is available. It gives you a little bit of a taste of what joining the yarn club might be like, because along with the yarn, you will get what yarn club members typically get, a postcard with a picture of the yarn, and then it tells you what this belongs to. So the Knight of the Lion Yarn Club, this is the pre-club, and I'm calling it part 0. And this story breaks down over 2 parts, so you get part 0A and part 0B, and on the back is the story. So as a yarn club member, this is what yarn club members typically get. They get the yarn, and it does eventually have a label on it. They get the yarn, and then they get the postcard with the story. And so with this little pre-club, I'm also doing the same thing, the yarn plus the postcard with the story. So if you are interested in joining the pre-club, then you can go ahead and get that. It's technically I'm doing pre-orders for it, and I will be shipping those out as I finish dyeing the yarn. I've got a big batch going today, and then that will go out, and then I just released this yesterday, so thank you guys so much to those of you who have already ordered that. I'm getting your yarn dyed, and it will be out probably early next week for those of you who've already put in an order. And so you can get that and kind of see what it's like a little bit to be part of the club. You don't get a surprise color, but you still get the postcard and the story and a little bit of that club-like atmosphere. Then, if you are a member of the pre-club, you get early access to joining the Knight of the Lion Club. So every time I set up a yarn club, I always have in mind a number of skeins that are my max number of skeins that I feel comfortable dyeing for the club. And so the idea is that although I have an end date for when signups end, if I reach that number of skeins before that date, then the club closes early. So it's entirely possible that the club would close before the end of the sign-up dates. So by joining the pre-club, you get first access to joining the Knight of the Lion Club, so you don't have to worry about the club closing early. That you can go ahead and save your spot. And again, I just released the pre-club yesterday and sent the information to those people who ordered about the full club, and we already have signups. So some people have already joined the Night of the Lion Club, which thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. It's always kind of scary when you release something and wonder, is anybody going to be interested in this? So it's relieving to know, yes, people do actually want to be part of the club. So thank you. But anyway, so if you buy the pre-club yarn, then you get the secret links that you can use to sign up for the full club. I don't think I mentioned the full club is a 5-month club. And the first shipment of the full club will be July 16th, so it'll be, or 15th. So July, August, September, October, November will be the midpoint of those months will be the shipping dates for those. So anyway, all the information is on the Round Table Yarns website for the pre-order. I will link to it in the show notes. And then you can also read the information about the Yarn Club itself. You just don't have access to the links to actually sign up unless you buy the pre-club color. So yeah, so lots of things going on here at Round Table Yarns, prepping for Fiber Festival and for the Yarn Club. So lots of excitement. The Tsunami shawl that I finished is one of my entries for this quarter's knit along. So the science or math themed. Stargazing is my other entry. I probably will not have that finished by the end of the month, but hey, I finished Tsunami, so that is exciting. And some of you guys have finished some projects that go in this knit along. So the first one is AC Sparky 89, and she did one of the other patterns in that same collection, Typhoon. So so you can see that there. She actually used one of my self-striping, the Fair Unknown, which is a pastel rainbow, and then Lady of the Lake is the blue. And I think those look so good together, and I love the way that her shawl came out. And then Harps 57 did Hallie by Martina Bem. So this is a very long shawl. So you can see in the picture just how long it is, and a really nice kind of, it looks like zigzag lace pattern there. So that is a great entry. A Simple Motif finished Geology, which is a, let's see, just got 2 pictures here, which is a project that someday I would like to do. It's been on my, my favorites and my queue. I've taken it out of my queue since I don't have yarn specifically devoted for it yet. But it's been in my favorites and then kind of bouncing around on my queue for a long time. So maybe someday I will make it, but A Simple Motif did finish hers. And then Elsie 99 did Radium. And I think the colors that she picked are perfect for the idea of radium. So kind of some wildness going on in there. There you can see that there are these like giant holes that are in the design. So that's really fabulous. And Miss Pickle Chips finished Tsunami. So there's another Tsunami going out there. So here you can see, since mine's not blocked, you can really see a good look at the shape and the design there. And she used one of the self-stripings from Mustache Yarns. I think that's the one that's is it 18 stripes, 20 stripes, some ridiculous number of stripes. And the gray is from Brazen Stitchery. So some really great shawls that are there in the knit along. If you are participating in the knit along, please go to the Ravelry group and in the chat thread, show us your in progress shawl. We'd love to see that. And then don't forget to post in the FO thread. You have until the end of this month, the end of June. That will be when this quarter ends. And once again, I forgot to grab the yarns that are the prizes, but 2 prizes this time around, a beautiful sock blank from Panorama Fiber Arts and a really gorgeous sparkly skein of yarn from Elemental Fiberworks. So I will try to remember to show those off again. I know I showed them off at one point, but I'll try to remember to grab those and show them off again at some other future recording of the podcast. So again, you have until the end of June to finish your shawl for this knit along or crochet along. I keep saying it. Love to see some crocheted shawls in the thread. So yeah, I want to see what you guys are working on. what I am reading and watching. So I just finished listening to the audiobook of a memoir called Educated by Tara Westover. Last name just jumped out of my head. Tara Westover, which is really, really fascinating about, she was born into a family of very devoutly religious Mormons who were very much against basically the government, medicine. They thought that going to a hospital or a doctor was just completely wrong. And they homeschooled, but homeschooling in a way that they really weren't educating the children, just kind of like leaving them to their own devices. So it was a really interesting look at how she grew up, and then eventually she decided to go to college, which ultimately led her on to even earning a PhD. And unfortunately breaking with her family because her family really didn't accept some of the choices that she made. But it was kind of a fascinating look at a world that I really know nothing about, and have never had that type of experience. Kind of scary, some of the thoughts that are, especially her father had, but really, really interesting. And so if you're at all interested in memoirs or possibly that type of topic, I definitely recommend that. So it's called Educated. And I will link that in the show notes. So I actually just finished listening to that this morning. As I was finishing up the sock, I was listening to that. And then as far as what I'm watching, since we are kind of in summer, and so most of the shows that I've been watching are on hiatus, which I actually don't have very many shows anymore that I'm watching kind of as it runs, but definitely don't have any this summer. I decided to start watching on Netflix. So I picked a show, and I picked Reign, which is R-E-I-G-N, as in king and queen reigning, not the weather phenomenon. So this is a show that is very loosely based on Mary Queen of Scots, especially her early years when she was in the French court and when she married Francis, who became King of France for a short time. I say very loosely based because, yes, there are things that are historically accurate. Mary Queen of Scots did marry Francis, the King of France, and there are other things that are rooted in history. But wow, there are some stories that are definitely not historically accurate. The costumes, the dresses that the women are wearing are gorgeous, but again, the French court did wear dresses that probably were a bit more revealing than some other places, but some of these dresses are really not appropriate period attire, but they are gorgeous. And yeah, there is definitely a lot of leeway that the show has taken with history, but for whatever reason, it is just completely addictive. I find myself watching an episode, and then when it's over, I just immediately want to watch the next episode. So whatever it is about it, it's completely addicting. I'm in the middle of season 2 right now. There are 4 seasons. So we'll see what happens in continuing on with it. So if you're okay with historically inaccurate types of shows, and you want something that has a lot of drama and has a lot of romance, and it's probably worth checking out to see if you might potentially like it. If you cannot handle historical inaccuracies, then definitely stay away from it, because I've just tried to tell myself, you know what, her name is Mary Queen of Scots, but beyond that, I'm not going to really worry too much about what actually happened, although it has made me kind of read up on some of her history just to kind of see how inaccurate it is. Anyway, so that's kind of what I've been doing with my reading and watching time. I am still technically reading a book. I got kind of bogged down a bit in the book that I was reading, which is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. It's not necessarily anything wrong with the book. It just, I put it down for a little while and it's been kind of hard to pick back up. But I am nearing the end of that and I do want to finish it. And then I have some other books that I'm looking forward to reading. I read the Paper Magician series. Charlie Holmberg, I think, is the author. I'll have to look that up. And I really, really like those books. And she just came out with another book called The Plastic Magician, which, if I'm understanding right, it's in the same universe, but it doesn't follow the same characters. So I'm really looking forward to starting that one. I think that will be the next book that I read once I finish this one. And I think that's pretty much it as far as what I am reading and watching. So I think that wraps things up for this episode. I think Luna has finally calmed down, so I've been trying to do stuff on the computer whenever she's a little bit calmer. So hopefully I will be able to get a little bit of work done today, doing some editing for Ply magazine. So I need to work on that and get this episode up. So thank you so much for watching, and especially thank you for understanding about this relaxed summer schedule. I'm not sure yet when I will record next. I'll try to keep it on roughly every other week, but like I said, gonna not worry too much about sticking to that exactly. So again, thank you so very much for watching, and also thank you for all the comments that you guys have been leaving both on YouTube and in the Ravelry group. I hope that you will continue to do that. I love reading those. I love interacting with you guys. So I want to hear from you. Until next time, happy knitting.